Welcome back to Financial Independence 101. It's a beautiful day here in Oklahoma. Just want to take a little bit of time outside to talk about all this and how we are going to go forward and open the economy, what problems we're going to face, and why we even need to worry about it. Why do we want to open the economy? Let's talk about all this stuff. Coming up. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is having the local governments decide what opens up first. Because here's the problem. Like, you can't do the same thing for the whole country. That's just all there is to it. You have to have the local governments decide, because some states aren't as affected as others and some cities aren't as affected as others. And there's a whole lot of reasons for that. So looking at this, some places have no cases. So like here in Oklahoma, we are actually seeing furloughs of hospital workers. In fact, a lot of hospital workers are getting laid off and going to New York City. They're actually getting paid like 10 grand a week in Oklahoma City, so that's pretty awesome. I do have family in the medical industry, so they do keep me abreast of this, and they're being called and told to stay home. Do you want to take an extra day off, 2 days off this week? The medical industry is not booming here in Oklahoma because we are not seeing this. Now, there's another side of that people are scared to go to the hospital because they think they might contract coronavirus. So that's another unintended consequence of all of this. So the medical industry, believe it or not, in many, many states, there's nothing going on. So when you think about this, it's going to be done in phases. So when you open up a restaurant, so let's say in my city there might be 5 or 6 people with coronavirus, right? But if they go to a restaurant that's full and busy, they could spread it to 100 people, and those 100 people could spread it to 3,000 people. Before you know it, we have a epidemic here. Yeah, I think there's 2 reasons why the more heavily populated areas have those outbreaks. But that's another thing. We're not as heavily populated, so we should be able to open closer to full go faster than, say, New York City. So Oklahoma City should be up and running before New York City because it's more spread out. They're not living on top of each other, and they can maintain the social distancing for a lot longer, but still be closer to full capacity. The other thing is we have to watch the progress. So like as each phase and step goes in to place, you have to see if there's any numbers changing. Have we seen a spike? And that's another issue. And then of course there's what's going on. Of course, we're going to open this all up, and it's still left to local. When you think about what happened with the swine flu, what happened with the swine flu is wave 2 and wave 3 were much bigger, much worse. So those were much bigger events, killed a lot more people, but it was a spike, see, in the chart. And right now it's taking a lot longer, but we're not seeing the huge spike. We don't want to see the huge spike because that would overrun hospitals. Like right now, our hospitals could easily get overrun if we had an outbreak and it wasn't as controlled. I think we're doing a good job controlling it. Well, that's the only explanation, right? There's no other explanation, right? Okay, the second one I want to talk about is slowing demand. It's going to be a slow recovery. Here's why. Because there's people are still scared to get out. And on top of that, people are broke because they're not working. We're looking at half of America is really not working. That's the truth. If they are working, they're only working less hours. There are some instances where people are working more, but if there's no money coming in, and that's $1,200. $1,200 doesn't really go very far. Now we got $3,400 in our family, so that went pretty far. That paid like 1 month's bills, nice and easy. We actually didn't even need it. We would have been fine without it, but it was nice to have. It's not like something that, oh no, without this $3,400 we would have lost our house and our car and all this stuff, because that's just not what financial independence is all about. I mean, we already had financial independence, so it was nice to get, but we didn't really need it. But all these restrictions that they're putting on are causing some frustration. So the people that are broke, that aren't going to get out, but then the people during this recovery and the slow recovery that we're going to see, these restrictions are going to frustrate people. Like right now, there are 30 people standing in line at Walmart. Now I saw in California there were like 600 people standing to get into Costco or whatever. I mean, that's more extreme, and I think in the bigger, more heavily populated areas you're going to have more extremes. But with this, we don't have the problem here. So when you don't have as big of an issue, then I don't think it's going to be as big of a problem left up to local. But still, even when the people want to get out, the restrictions themselves are going to hold up the full capacity. You're not going to be able to get the full capacity because you can't have more than 100 people in the building, and that 100 people can only buy so much, and then they're only going to have like 2 cashiers instead of a full force of cashiers. So all of this stuff is going on, which leads into the next number 3, staffing. So I think this is the biggest problem. Try to turn the economy back on. Let's say we went to full go tomorrow. You know what? Coronavirus is gone. It's gone. And we go to full capacity. How are you going to staff all those operations? I'm just looking from a restaurant standpoint. The restaurant I used to work at, I know a handful of those people got other jobs. Here's what happens when someone in a restaurant business gets a job in a retail. They go, wow, this is so much easier than a restaurant. I don't ever want to go back to a restaurant. I've seen it time and time again. I've only seen like 2 or 3 out of the 3,000 people that have worked for me. I've never seen but 2 or 3 of them come back to a restaurant. That's because they got fired from their retail job. They would have not left their retail job on and said, oh, I want to go back to a restaurant. I never see it because it's always so much easier, and it pays a little bit better. Like Walmart is paying $11, $15 an hour to stand there and do like next to nothing compared to what you do in a restaurant. So I do know they work. I have a friend that works in Walmart. He works hard and he earns his money, but he works hard because he wants to. He wants to be productive and efficient. You could goof off there a lot more than you can goof off in a restaurant. That's for sure. So the other thing is with staffing is this unemployment thing. So if you're going to be making more money on unemployment, sitting at home getting $600 extra on top of your unemployment, so your unemployment, okay, I talk about this like I'm an expert. I've never gotten unemployment. My wife applied for it, but she's still getting paid her job, so she just decided to let it go. She doesn't need it, so she's canceled her unemployment, but you don't really cancel unemployment, so that's something else I learned about unemployment. But it's only 75% of your income, and 75% of your income plus $600 in most cases, in almost every case, unless you're a millionaire, but you're making $1 million a year or something. But I don't think you're going to get much unemployment out of that because there's a cap, I believe. But you're making more sitting at home. And let me tell you this, from a restaurant standpoint, I went 24 years, missing almost every holiday, catching up with my family 3 days later on video and video pictures and all this stuff to see how the holiday went. And that was how my holidays were celebrated, most of my holidays, except for Christmas, for 24 years. And nowadays, like, would I rather do that and make less money, go back to that, and high stress and work 10, 12, 15-hour days, or enjoy my life, sit at home, enjoy my pool, enjoy my house, enjoy my family, enjoy walking? See, I'd much rather pick time with my family and enjoying everything than knowing it's all sitting here and I can't use it because I'm too busy working. I mean, that's what most people do. Now we got a 4-month, so it's 4 months. We're 1 month into this 4 months that you don't even have to look for a job. So you can collect this unemployment and not even have that whole aspect of unemployment where you're looking for a job. So I'm not saying that Americans are lazy, but I can tell you that I know a lot of Americans that are, but I'm not saying all of America is, and I think a lot of people that are smart can think past this. They can say, if I have a job, if I do have a job when this is all over and everyone's looking for work, then that's less work on me. I've already got a job. I'm already in position. That would be the smart thing to do, but not everyone's like that. So I already talked about finding other jobs. I'm also discussing the kids aren't in school, so like you have babysitting issues. So who really wants to deal with the babysitting issues? I don't. I know I don't want to deal with babysitting issues, but like for me, it's no big deal. Like when my wife goes to work, I'm here, so I can take care of the kids, and usually she's home in time, but she works for the school system, so she works a school schedule. So, but sometimes she needs to come home later and whatever, and I'm here for the kids, so it's not a big deal. Also, some people are either caring for sick family members, which, I mean, if they have coronavirus, you're not supposed to be around them. That's the way it is. Or you are sick themselves, so they can't work. So there's that. But that's a very, 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 very small amount of people in Oklahoma here. So also talking about the last point here, distribution and shortages. So if we go to full force, since we just recently ran out of stock at almost every retail establishment, especially for food, if we went full force, we could run out very quickly and not get resupplied as fast. If we took all the restrictions off, like there's item restrictions, you can only buy one of this, one of that. You only buy one roll of toilet paper. But if they took those restrictions off, they would sell out really fast. And when they sold out really fast, and they wouldn't get replenished as fast. And you got to understand that levying up on these restrictions now, people still have that mindset of scarcity. Or at least I kind of hope they do, so they maybe are not wasting as much food, not wasting as much stuff, and that would be helpful, but still with that mindset of scarcity that ends up making them want to buy 2 or 3 or 4 when they only need 1, and hoarding food and toilet paper. So the other thing is some of these plants have closed. Like there's a lot of issues where they say that 400 people came down with something, 700 people came down with the coronavirus in these plants. And so now we have capacity reduced. And with that, that's a big issue. So if there's less getting produced on this food, the distribution and the restocks are going to be way behind. So let's get into some of my questions here. I don't know anybody personally in the entire world that's been infected with coronavirus. I don't know one human being. Now they tell me about celebrities or whatever, or Joe Blow or someone's story, and here's like an emergency room with 4 patients in it, and it's overrun with 4 patients is all that I can see, maybe 6 patients, I don't know. But I don't understand, like I don't know anyone that's come down with it. I think fear would truly set in to people when they know someone that's died from it. I don't know anyone that's died from it. So for me, it's kind of like, it's really hard to be scared, or, I mean, I'm cautious because I don't want to get the flu. I don't want to get tuberculosis. I don't want to catch pneumonia. I don't want to contract any of these diseases. I don't want a staph infection. There's a lot of stuff, so I wash my hands, and I take all these practices we're talking about now is just normal practices, especially in the restaurant industry. You do this stuff all the time because you handle people's food. You don't want them to get sick, and of course you don't want to get sick yourself. So with all of that, that's not changing my life at all. And so when I think about it, on the other end of this, I haven't heard of any famous or partially famous person. Anytime anyone's died in 2020, it's been of coronavirus. No one's died of a heart attack. Nobody's died of tuberculosis or the flu or any of that stuff. Nobody's died of this yet. And anything other than coronavirus. Like, coronavirus kills everyone. Oh yeah, but they had 4 other ailments, but it was the coronavirus that got them. You know, that dude died of a heart attack, but the coronavirus got him. If it was a heart attack, he would have pulled through. That's also scaring people not wanting to go to the hospital, because I think it's a bit of misinformation. I think that there are at least a third, if not 92%, of all of the coronavirus deaths are other deaths. They're just all getting called coronavirus. I don't know why they'd want to do that, and I can't prove that. So if I can't prove that, I mean, that's just opinion. I can share my opinion. This is YouTube. I'm allowed to do what I want, right? But every day I see 3 or 4 more doctors come out saying that they're being told to classify all deaths as coronavirus. So that's weird. Like, why would they do that? Now, I could see a few different reasons for that. I could see that we're not to full testing. And let me tell you about full testing. Your test at home is going to swab your cheek, and then they're going to be able to test you for a multitude of things, including what you've been vaccinated for, I believe. But this swab, you're now going to be entered in a database, and they're going to have hundreds of details about you from your cheek swab. And I don't know about that, but I don't really want my DNA on file with the government. I've been thinking about this a lot. I don't want my DNA on file with the government. So I'm not going to be sending off a cheek swab. And if they say you have to be tested to go back to work, I'm not going back to work. I don't work. I don't ever want to work a job again. So looking at all of this, the other thing is about 5G. So there's a correlation between 5G and coronavirus hotspots, and I'm going to have another video about that. But I think there's a correlation there. I think there is something to it. I don't think it's quite the same as people are saying. So look forward to my other video talking about 5G. Financial Independence 101, out.